Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of From There to Here. I'm your host, Lawrence Temple. My guests today are Kurt and Charleen Greer. Now they are connected here. If you're in the and they're waving, hey, and if you're in the Daytona area, you might know of the Jeep Beach event, and that they are behind. They are the force behind that. And we are going to talk about the Jeep Beach event. You know it probably as a fun event for Jeep enthusiasts, but there's a whole lot more to it and to this couple. And we're just going to talk about their path to doing what they're doing, and we're going to go off in all kind of directions. So, Team Greer, how are you?
Hi,
Hey,
Mr.
Mr. Temple,
Temple.
how
How
are you?
are you?
I am great. Now, for those who don't know, we got connected initially when two of your boys were at the school where I worked, and they were just a hurricane force of nature. You could not know them. And
Well,
I knew them before I knew you, and then it's just going on. It's going on, and I mean the hurricane thing in a good way. For those who don't know, I mean it in a
right.
good way.
Absolutely. Honey,
Okay,
sometimes I call him Tornado Hunter and Gunner,
Yes.
but that's
okay,
okay.
there you go. Well,
Tornado Hurricane.
As you know, that apple did those two apples did not fall from far from the tree.
Uh,
that's
Very,
normally the case. I just say that.
that is
Yes.
very true. But we are so honored and happy to be a part of this and super excited to just be able to talk and get the message out there because there's no telling where God will take us on this journey.
100%. So let's see. I told you there's one question I kind of tell the guests in advance. I say if you had to give your elevator speech, and for those who don't know what that means, let's say you stepped on the elevator, someone's on there, you're only going to be on there with them for a few seconds, and they ask you, who are you or what are you about? If you had to boil your life down in a few seconds, what would you say? Both of you, either one of you, go.
I will start. I would say that we are servant leaders, that this journey and this path that God set us on is not our own. And God said, this is where I need you. He put us in ministry for several years and then pulled us out of big ministry for several years and then dropped Jeep Beach in our lap. We decided for a long time, well, for 3 months, I fought that and I said, I'm not going to do this. And he said, yes, you are. God won. Kurt said, yes, you are. You can't keep fighting God. And so here we are. And it has been quite a humbling experience and journey. But now I am the CEO of Jeep Beach Incorporated, and Kurt is our director of vendors and handles a lot of logistics and coordinating vendors. And basically, in a nutshell, what we do is we have a 10-day event. We bring a lot of people and money to Daytona Beach, and we keep it here. We raise it and then we give it back to the community. So there's not just an economic development to what we do, there's also tremendous humanitarian and philanthropic give back to Jeep Beach Incorporated. So that's our elevator speech that we've given more than one time.
Yeah, sound like it.
Mr. Temple, Charlene's elevator is kind of like the Empire State Building. Okay.
That's per- that's
Yeah,
perfect.
I'm on that short elevator. Mine's quick.
He's
I do
wearing
what
it the whole
Charlene
thing.
tells me to do, and I consider myself Mr. Charlene because
Okay.
out of what she's accomplished and everything, and I stay a lot on the backside just to make sure everything's running. She gets where she needs to go, but I'm very proud of her, and she is just kicking butt this year, and we're going to have a great year and going to raise a lot of money.
I love it. He's my hype guy. He's the best hype guy ever. And I love that he said I'm on the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'll take that
Yeah.
compared to his short elevator at the Holiday Inn Express. But
Yeah.
the good
Yeah.
news
Yeah.
is he'll be able to do brain surgery tomorrow.
Yes, I will.
okay.
I
That's all.
will.
Oh, I love this, and I could go 50 ways with from things you guys have said already. We're gonna a little bit. We're gonna circle back to where how your faith has a role in the things
Oh,
that you
wow.
do. But let's back up. Jeeps. Why Jeeps? Why not horses or just whatever? Where'd the whole
Well,
Jeep thing come from you
He
for
bought
you
me a Jeep.
personally?
yep.
He bought me a Jeep, and the rest is history. Literally, I knew my whole life. My dad had Jeeps.
We had Jeeps.
His family had Jeeps. When we had the twin boys, we did not have Jeeps.
Yes.
We bought one Grand Wagoneer, and it was much, much older. So we decided to sell what we had. Back in the day when our children were children, when they were born and infants, we were living paycheck to paycheck, moment to moment, and just literally trusting God for every single need. And He always met. He always gave us what we needed, and a lot of times what we wanted too. But it was more about the need during those years. And so when our boys went, when they started driving, Mr. Temple, they were with you.
Yep,
All Seabreeze knew when they started
Yes.
that's the
driving.
truth.
And so when they started driving, I said, I want to get rid of the mom tank and I want my Jeep. And so Kurt found one, bought it for me, and we got involved with Jeep Beach. It was run by a local club for many years.
Okay.
Beautiful club. And they had taken it, we had volunteered with them and just escalated it to a certain level, but then it just outgrew management of a social club. So the club voted unanimously to formulate a 501c3 and give it business structure. And that's where I was fighting God. And I was like, no, this is our time. Our boys are getting ready to graduate. They're doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is our time. And God was like, yeah, no, it's not your time yet. Your time will come, retirement will come, but I still have a mission and a calling. And so I said yes, and we just hit the ground running, I should say.
Well, the good thing about now, it's still our time because it's not a job to us. It's a
True.
Okay.
passion. We love what we do. We love the community we live in. We love the charities that we help. And
Very true.
like with us, we're not just write a check and have a good day. We give them their money, but then we help them year round.
Don't you deny those kids and those
Yeah,
veterans
that's
and
right.
those heroes in my life. I want to
So-
get out there and be a part of their life.
So we try to
Right.
be out as much in the public as possible. And I think that's the reason we've been blessed. I believe that's the reason the event's grown in the way that it has, because we're not just to sit back and watch everybody else do it. We do it. We get our hands dirty every day. We work every day. And it's fun. And, at the end of the day, the ministry part of it, a lot of people have no idea that we minister to them. And, we planted that little mustard seed, and it's amazing how many times somebody will come back and they'll ask a question. What do you mean by that? And then, and that God just opens up that door. So, to us, it is a ministry. And so it's wonderful.
Yes. Wow. Now, all right, so let's back up more. For the person who doesn't know, want to describe what's the Jeep Beach before we get to the charity part, just the event itself, or maybe it's all together. What is the Jeep Beach event? Pretend I moved here from Montana and I never heard of it before. What is it?
It is a 10-day event packed full of everything Jeep. We are the world's largest Jeep exclusive event. We have Jeepers from all 50 states, and in 2023 had 32 countries represented. So we bring people from all over the world. Jeep is very much a unique lifestyle. It's not just a vehicle, almost like the bike community. So it's
Okay.
very comparable. A lot of people can relate or understand Bike Week and that camaraderie and that fellowship of bikers. Jeepers are very much the same way, and actually a lot of crossover between, especially as some of us Jeepers or some of our bikers got older, we went to four wheels instead of two. So
Okay.
very kindred spirits, but we have events all over Daytona Beach. We hold it every April. So towards the end of every April, when Daytona Beach was seeing a lull, we had just come off, of course, all of the motorsport season that we're in the middle of, or kicking off right now. I can't say we're in the middle of it quite yet, but we're kicking off this coming week with the Rolex 24 race. And so in January is Rolex 24, and February is Daytona 500, and March is Bike Week, and in April it's now Jeep Beach Week, which again, 10 days of events everywhere. Every night of the week, we encourage the community to come out. You don't have to be a Jeeper.
Yeah.
And they're free.
They're free to
All the
come
way-
and attend.
Yeah, all the way. Now, events are free. We just want the community to come out, see what we do. The only charge is when they come in for the weekend and they either buy registration or,
A
per
ticket to the
person.
concert. We're doing a
Yeah,
fun concert
Fun
this year.
concert
Okay.
this year. But the great thing about the weeknight events, it gives people who are not Jeepers come out, see the cool Jeep, see the vendors, and one or two things happen. They either convert and go buy a Jeep, or they become a volunteer. So it's a win-win for us.
We have a
Wow.
beeper going off. Kurt's going to
Be right
step
back.
away. He'll be right back.
Okay.
But with that, what we want is we want the community to embrace what we're doing, because we're not doing this for Kurt and Charleen. God's blessed us tremendously and other avenues and always provides for us. So really, Jeep Beach, in other words, we're not getting rich. The community is getting rich. And because it's about community, we want community to embrace it and to be a part of it so that they can see all that we're doing, and it's family friendly. So do not leave your kids at home. Any night of the week, it's open to all the family members, all the kids. The only time we have to put a restriction on our fur babies is when we're in the speedway and there's, 65,000 people elbow to elbow. That gets very uncomfortable for our fur babies. But outside of that, we love to see the whole family, which we call the jamly.
Okay.
So it's the jamly.
Okay. I'm learning the lingo here. Okay, I
Yes.
got that.
Just
And
let
did
the Jeep wave.
did you say numbers like 65,000 people? Is that what you just said?
Yes. So throughout the 10 days, we bring 250,000 people into Daytona Beach. We are
Okay.
one of the top three events in volume. So of course, the Daytona 500 just packs out our city, which we love. Bike Week the same, and now Jeep Beach also draws the same number of attendees and participants. Our hotels are full, our restaurants are full. It's fun to see the businesses, and we partner with all of these businesses, and that's the beautiful thing. Giving it community roots is what Jeep Beach is all about. And so we partner with restaurants, we partner with hotels, we partner with retail, we partner with convenience stores and realtors, and everyone figures out a way to give a percentage back or $1. Our restaurants, they add $1 to a certain item on their menu, and that $1 adds up when there's multiple. When we've got 20 restaurants collecting $1, it ends up being tens of thousands of dollars back to charity. So everyone, this is what I like to say. Everyone that touches Jeep Beach, whether you're a $50,000 sponsor or you're a participant that bought a $5 sticker, you come out one night during the week and you see our merchandise trail and you're like, you know what? I don't want any of that, but that sticker's really cool. You just gave to charity and you didn't even know it.
Okay.
So everybody that touches it, volunteer. We bring over 350 volunteers throughout the week, and they work 6,700 hours in 2023 cumulative. So everybody's hours added together was over 6,700. Very humbling.
Now, before you two got involved in the leadership of it, was there the charity focus that you have now? Did that focus exist with the group before you got there?
It did. It absolutely did. And we just grew the platform and made the giving power even larger. I have this saying right now because God gave me a vision years ago after I stopped fighting him and I survived the first year.
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, that first year it was hard to develop vision. I knew what we could do, but inheriting an event of the magnitude that it was, I told my group of volunteers, which was very humble at that time, it was 23 people. 23 people brought tens of thousands of people to Daytona Beach. And I said, we're gonna tread water because the captain's not going down with the ship yet. So
Right.
grab a life jacket and keep paddling. And everyone did. And we were very successful. And after that year, we all looked at each other and I looked at that core group of people and I said, we have a platform here that has the potential to raise $1 million annually for charity. And so I am still chasing $1 million annually, but we're getting closer and closer. And over the course of the years, honestly, since 2012, we've raised $4.3 million for Volusia and Flagler counties.
That now that's amazing. Now,
Yeah, so in a 10-year period, 4.3 million.
I was going to ask, has it been 10 years?
It had, well, Jeep Beach, the 20th anniversary of Jeep Beach, when it started back in 2000, was in 2003 with the club, and it was very small beginnings, and they really didn't track a lot of the giving power. It wasn't until 2012 that we
Okay.
really started tracking the giving power. So that's why we say it's over. We know we've raised 4.3 million since 2012, cumulatively. But before 2012, so from 2003 to 2011, we don't know what that number was, but it was there. And so we can just honestly say over 4.3
Okay. I see
mil.
that. Now
Yeah.
the show's called From There to Here, so we like to look at the roots of things. I know the giving nature of what you do now. I kind of saw that reflected when your kids went to the school where I worked, because you all were always there supporting the things that they did and kind of brought the family thing to campus. So my question is, where does this family attitude, the attitude I want to help, I want to bring people in, where does that come from? Were you both raised that way? Did it just fall out of the sky? Where does that attitude of, looking out for other people and stuff, where do you think it comes from?
I,
God.
God, yeah. And I think that when Charlene and I met, we were with two very powerful people of in a youth and children's ministry. And I really say they were the roots of putting us in the line that we are now, because they were tremendous givers.
Incredible
Never about
mentors.
themselves. It was always, what can we do for others? And we were under
Okay.
them for about 10 years, and learned a lot, which actually led us into when we were in full-time youth and children's ministry for 6 years.
Okay.
I left a very good job to go into full-time ministry, and we loved it. I mean, it was an amazing time, but we were always outside the walls of the church. Let's get out here, let's talk to people, let's minister where we can. And luckily, Charlene is a great leader, and everything just fell in place. But it was totally God who put everything where it needed to be. And what so many people don't realize, when we moved here, we knew one person, one.
Okay.
And now we probably know more people in Daytona than people who have lived their entire lives.
We have
We-
people that were born and raised here, and they were like, you guys know way more people than we know.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to jump in on that conversation and also say, first and foremost, God is the answer to everything that we do. Our faith is incredibly strong. We have relationship and with God. It's like he's hanging out with us right now, in other words, and he's never not with. But my family too was also very giving, and I watched my mom and dad give so much of their time, and so we were always in the concession stands at the ball fields with them. We were always PTA and PTSA and theater and sports
Hmm.
and athletics. So always giving, always growing, always about community. And then, as Kurt mentioned, when we got married, God definitely put a couple in our path that just really mentored us. Mentorship is such a huge thing. And I love it when I'm asked to mentor someone, because I want them to be themselves and be all that they can be, because God didn't make any mistakes anytime ever. He allows us to navigate the journey with or without him.
Okay.
and and so, but my biggest thing to people is just for them to find those treasures and those gifts, because um giving isn't always about opening a checkbook or your wallet and giving financially. Giving can always, so many times, is your time, your talents, your gifts. And God's given each and every single one of us talents, and he's given us gifts. And it's just, sometimes you just need a little poking and prodding to pull those gifts out, because it's hard when you're trying to execute something new and something different. change is never easy, but it's always worth it. It's funny that we're having this conversation. I actually, right here, can you pull that down? I actually have the BU. I have this little saying that I wrote down a couple years ago, and it says, "Be you. An original is worth more than a copy." So, and
That's
this is what I want everybody to live by, because an original is worth so much more than a copy. For instance, this painting behind us, it was commissioned by dear friends of ours for me.
Mhm.
The original was over $2,000. The copies that people could buy were $25. So there you go. So relating that to artwork, the original art piece is
Yeah.
always more valuable than the replicas. And you and me and Kurt and everybody watching this, if you're watching this right now, you are an original. You're an original creation, a single work of God that is just beautiful, and we want you to find your full value and your full worth. And I think that's what I love so much about what we do is we get to see everyone, especially all of the volunteers. We have a core group now of over 70 event directors that are not on staff. They are not salaried. They do this out of the goodness and beautiful hearts that they have,
Hmm.
to see them step into their talents and into their gifts and into their strengths. That's what empowers me, is to help for me to help them become better versions of themselves and create so that the world can see the full nature of the original piece of work that God made.
I
So
saw, well, I saw, I mean, I've seen it multiple times, but I saw a glimpse of that when I bumped into you all. You had your event at Daytona 1 around the Christmas season. And,
yes.
and I walked around a bit before I actually saw you guys. And I'm just seeing the diversity of all these different people doing all these different roles, and like with a sense of like excitement and joy about it. And I thought it was so cool that they're doing stuff that's charitable, but it's still connected to a thing that they love, the Jeep thing.
Yes.
So they're helping people, but they're having fun, and it was just really amazing to see. So I got to see what you're talking about. I got to see it, there with my own eyes.
Well, that makes my heart happy that you
It
can
does.
feel it, sense it, see it. It's tangible.
Right.
Tan- I think that's the word, tangible.
And the great thing about it is we're amazed of how, God will pull you out of your comfort zone.
In a minute.
In a minute, he'll be like, "No, I need you to do more," even though you're like, "I can't do that." And he goes, "Yeah, you can." Our volunteers that we see from the time we started till now, to see how
beautiful.
far they have grown and how they've come up to be developed into a leader, and they're not scared to speak up now or stand up and go, "No, I think we need to do it this way." Okay, if you think that's going to work, let's do it. I got 100% confidence in you. And and to see people grow like that and know that you just have a little piece to do with it, and it's all through God. He's pushed everything through us, and as long as we stay focused on Him, there's nothing we cannot do, and this thing's just going to keep growing and getting bigger and bigger, and we're just going to be helping more people in our community.
I love it that he just said that God says, all things,
Hmm.
all things are possible through Christ who strengthens us. He doesn't say just some things. He says all things. And those three little letters, ALL, that means anything and everything that is confronting us and that we're faced with on a day to day. All of those things are possible to solve, to navigate through, to journey through life, because he's given us the strength to do so. And so that's such an important thing. The other thing that I think is so beautifully important that I would love for everybody to understand is, and
Hmm.
this is one of the things I was going to say a minute ago. A friend of mine was going through a career change, so to say. And
Yes.
after being in the same position for 20 plus years, she said, I could take this job. She had 3 job offers. Now she went 3 months without a job, without a paycheck, knew that God was moving her out of one area and into another. Didn't know where the paycheck was going to come from, didn't know where the mortgage payment was going to come from, but she
Mm.
trusted God and she stepped out in faith. And that's what, there's a big difference between just having faith and trusting. And that's a whole nother conversation. Trust goes to a whole nother level. But she did. She trusted and she kept trusting and she kept being, the iron sharpens iron, right? And so, and she went through the fire and we just kept ministering and we just kept encouraging. And we were like, you know what? God's got a plan. We don't have to understand it. We don't have to know it. We just need to understand his plan or trust his plan. Right before she was getting ready to take a position, 2 more positions came up. She said, I could take this one very comfortable. This one I know is not for me. So now it's down to 2 jobs. Do I take the unknown and anticipate what's to come, or do I step back into this position where everything is comfortable and I know I can thrive and I know I can bring something to the table?
Okay.
And I looked at her and I said, my friend, if you don't prune the tree, you stop bearing fruit. What kind of fruit are you going to keep bearing if you don't let God continue pruning? And so she took the position of the unknown, and she just called me and said, I am so happy that I went with the road that I was not most comfortable with, because just seeing what could be. So it's that anticipation. God knows the desires of your heart. He
Okay.
knows how to fan that flame, right? So you got to prune in order to bear fruit. If you don't prune a fruit tree, that fruit tree is not going to make any more fruit. It's all about pruning it back and knowing exactly where to take things in and out. And sometimes we have to go through that.
Goodness, this show was designed to encourage people and all of that. But you got me pumped. I want to just run through a wall right now. This is, and,
Let's do it. Hold hands. Yeah. We'll never go alone as long as you know us.
No.
and what I really love about multiple things. Well, one of the things I really love about what you're talking about is you are people of faith, of course, but you're in the world, like you're in a Jeep event. You're not just at a church camp. God, I mean, nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, you're in realms that people wouldn't normally associate with faith, church, Christ, all that kind of stuff. Showing that you can take who's in you anywhere, which is what you're supposed to do. So I just love that you're not in a traditional setting, if you will,
Right.
but you're not changing who you are. How about, let's see, I'm from wherever, never seen a Jeep, and I'm saying that this Jeep thing, they seem excited about it. What's so cool about a Jeep? Can you talk to us about that, please?
Mr. Temple, do you say who's riding in it?
What'd you say?
Do you say who's riding in that Jeep?
No. Nice. I missed it. Got it now.
Mr. Temple, when I found Charlene's Jeep, it was one of those where I called her. I said, I need you to get over here, empty the car. And she's like, Kurt, I'm not buying it, because I got it from a good friend of mine, Matt Hoffman, which you knew his daughter, Sierra, at Seabreeze. Well, he's the one that actually found my first Jeep for me. And I said, I'm a BMW dealer. She says, Kurt, I'm not buying a BMW. And I'm like, Charlene, just give me the car. Come on. And it truly, when you ride in it, and I don't care what kind of day you've had, when you hop in it, you throw the top back, and you just ride over on A1A, or you just run to the grocery store, it just makes you feel happy.
It's happy.
It's a happy, and if more people would understand that, it's not the most luxurious car in the world, but I would give that up for happiness. So when I get in it, I smile. People, as you know, with the Jeep wave, everybody waves at you if they have a Jeep, and if they don't, Charlene wants to revoke the Jeep card.
Oh, I revoke Jeep cards all the time. I'm like, you did not wave at me. No Jeep card for you.
Card revoked.
But and just like with some of our volunteers, we've had people come and volunteer at the event who knew nothing about what Jeep Beach was,
and are not Jeepers.
And are not Jeepers. Will come here and they'll either take a ride in one, they'll go do the obstacle course, or they'll go down on the beach. Next thing you know, we get a text or a picture. Look what I bought today, and they bought a Jeep, because they're just like, you're not kidding. It's just fun, and you smile when you ride it, and it's just a wonderful feel good vehicle.
When you've got the top off, doors off, wind blowing in your hair, and you're singing out loud, that make a joyful noise. There's something to be said about noise. Nobody judges your tune and or
No.
lack thereof. That
Okay.
I can't carry a tune in a bucket. It's freedom. It's freedom,
Yep.
and it's a sense of, you know what, I can be me, and that's in truly how I'm going to say 99% of the Jeep Jamly, as I call them, my Jamly. Um, that's how most of these people are. They're just beautiful, giving hearts, salt of the earth Americans. And it doesn't matter what race, what religion, what you identify as, what none of that matters. I'm not here to judge anybody, nor is Kurt or you, none of us. We're not here to
Yeah.
judge. We're just here to love and to serve people and to be kindness and to be a light in the world. And in this day and age, the world so many times can seem so dark, but there is still so much light, and it's up to us to have that light shining. So it's key. But the entire Jeep community is very much like that, and the resiliency of the brand. I mean, there's a reason that Jeeps were used in the war.
Right.
Since 1941, it's been around as a brand, and it's gone through, gosh, how many, the wars, the so many recessions, but the resiliency of the vehicle itself. I mean, back in the war days, Kurt knows more about the military Jeeps than I do, but they almost couldn't kill them. They'd run over mines, or they'd be hit by fire or whatever, and they would still run. They'd still keep going and going and going. They might be on their last leg. We actually, one of our Jeeps has 250,000 miles on it, and my girl is still going.
Okay.
So I think because the brand is so resilient, the people that drive them tend to share that same resiliency and that same unction to just keep going and give
Wow.
no matter how hard it is, just keep going, be resilient. So,
Well, I mean, that's on my list. After seeing the Jeeps you had up at Seabreeze, the Law Shaker, and all that, and then a teacher friend of mine, we rode in their Jeep, and I was like, "Well, what's the big deal?" He's like, "Well, come on, Larry, it's break time. Let's take." And after like 2 minutes, 30 seconds, like, oh, so this, oh my,
Yeah.
okay, so I get it.
it's
I'm
just
with,
that exhale breath of, I'm in a happy place.
It is.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and for people who don't understand, just like people who don't understand bikers, we always just try to tell them, come and get in, just take it around the block. See how, because they have especially the newer Jeeps, so many people have they remember
the water Jeeps. The water Jeeps.
you rode like this.
right, yeah,
When we got our new one, we didn't have it but just a few months, and we took off to Nashville, Tennessee in it. And when we rode up there, we were like,
I feel
wow.
like I'm in something. Man,
Yeah.
I'm like riding on the clouds here. It was so
oh,
nice.
yeah,
So a lot of fun. But
It is.
anyway, so that's why the Jeeps.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Um, well, I listen. I have thoroughly. Again, this show is supposed to encourage other people and all this, but this thing has just got me fired up, and I know it's going to be a blessing to other people as well. One more time. Anything else about Jeep Beach, either the event or the organization, or anything that you want us to know? Please tell us
I
as we
would
get
love,
ready to wrap up.
yes, I would love. I'm going to leave you guys with this, and I hope this is good for both of us. Come out and get involved. You can go to our website. Our website is up. I don't know if you want to share that or not, but
I
we'll
do.
be opening volunteer registration at jeepbeach.com very soon. And so I think my volunteer team said somewhere right around the 1st of February, they'll be opening the links for people to go on and sign up. Just come out and be a part of something that's bigger than you. And I think that's what's so amazing, is that it takes every single volunteer, every single participant, every single sponsor, vendor, you name it. It takes community. And when you allow yourself to be a part of something bigger than your own little bubble, you
Okay.
suddenly begin giving more and more and more, and you start to understand how much more there is outside of your walls of your home, or the walls of your school, or the walls of your church. All of those are amazing buildings and structures and infrastructures for our lives. But the bigger picture, as you mentioned earlier, is outside. Go be with people. This world is hurting and they need that light. And the one thing that I've always said, that we've said for so many years now, is God doesn't need perfection. He just needs a vessel. He just needs us to be hands and feet and my mouth, obviously. But some of us he has being talkers, some of us he just has being doers. But whatever it is that you can give it. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be monetary. It just has to, you go engage, connect, human connection. In this day and age, human connection is we're seeing less and less of it. And so
Yeah, it's true.
go connect with other people, have that human connection. And I can promise you your lives will be fulfilled. Go be a vessel.
You know what? I always take a quote from the interview and I make that like the subtitle of the interview. Go be a vessel. That's going to be the subtitle for this episode.
That's awesome.
Perfect. That's what we
Perfect.
want.
Yep.
Go be a vessel.
I have my recording says I have a couple minutes left. So tell the people what I already know. Do you have any kids? Do you have any grandkids? Tell us about that before we go.
We do.
We do. We actually have more grandchildren than we have children now.
We have 3 beautiful children.
Yeah.
We have 2, a son-in-law and a daughter-in-law. We have 3 grandbabies in North Carolina. So 2 girls, twin girls.
Yeah.
And a little boy who is 2, who is precious, our world. And then another grandson here locally to us
which is Gunners.
So, and Mr. Temple, I always say that we're family, and honestly, I tell everybody you and Kurt are twins. Yeah. So that makes them your family too.
That's right. That's right.
100%. No
and
argument here.
I totally see the resemblance between
I
the
knew
2.
that. I knew you were going to say that, and I see it too.
And if people can't see the resemblance and they're looking through the wrong set of eyes,
that's their problem, not mine.
And we are pretty.
100%. But you say the wise. This is a wise man. He is a wise man.